am the Lord. Nelson, that is. Quite shocking.
This is Danielle Weber, and you're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord. Nelson, that is.
Yes! Perfect.
I nailed it. Even Alessandra's like, yeah, you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, music lovers of all walks of life, prepare yourselves for a powerful and soulful experience unlike any other. You are now tuned in to the big guy with the big show, the Lord. Yeah, Nelson, that is, host of the always electric Live and Loud with the Lord on the CMS network with 5 Royals ENT. And today, oh, yes, today, we've got an undeniable force of artistry gracing the show. She's just not a singer. She's a dynamic vocalist, a masterful songwriter, and an unstoppable presence who has traveled the globe. Yes, she has, lending her powerhouse voice to some of the biggest names in the game, from commanding center stage to elevating legendary acts with her unmatched talent. She is the true definition of versatility, grace, and grit. Yes, indeed. Now, you may know her from the road with Lenny Kravitz, Duran Duran, Chic, and Little Steven and the Disciples of Soul. But when this young lady steps into her own spotlight, you feel every note, every lyric, every ounce of her passion. Her solo work is a journey through soul, rock, funk, and everything in between. And I love that. Delivered with a voice that pierces straight to the heart. So sit back, turn the volume up, and lock in. And without further ado, we bring to you the incredible Jessie Wagner.
Oh my goodness. Can I take you with me everywhere? I mean, that's your job from now on. The announcer, just follow people. I would pay for that.
Hey, we're here to big you up. This is all about you. You've been with some famous people, but this is all about you. This we're bigging you up today. That's what's going on.
Skills, man. You got some skills.
Well, thank you, young lady. So our first question always for everybody is, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Virginia. I still consider that home. My mom's there, so I go down there all the time.
Right.
But I live in New York right now.
Okay. Awesome. So what was the best thing about being from Virginia?
Oh, I don't know. It's just that Southern way of life, but you're not too far down. You're not too far up. You're kind of in the middle.
Right.
You can, experience the whole East Coast. And I grew up by the water in Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. Yeah. So, there was, I spent my summers on the beach, which was pretty awesome.
Right.
So I had like this cool Southern way of living, which was really chill. And then I had the beach life as well. And And I still love Virginia. I love being in New York. I think you have to love being here to stay here because child, it is no joke. But I still feel a kinship to the South, to my hometown. So I get to go back there.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm from South Carolina.
There we go.
I was born in Charleston. I'm a military kid, so we kind of bounced around a few places. I didn't spend a lot of time in Charleston, but every time I go there, I still feel that love. We were just my family and my wife and kids. We were just there this past weekend, and just an amazing time. When I go back and just enjoy it. So I understand exactly what you're saying. I really, really do.
That love and that food.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Actually, we ate some really good food out there.
Exactly.
So, what was Jessie like as a teen?
As a teen, well, growing up,
I know that wasn't long ago, but what were you like as a teen?
Yesterday, no. I actually was really, really shy. It was the stage that actually brought me out of my shell. I remember I had to do a poetry reading, and in class, that was one of the assignments. And the way I delivered it, the teacher was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like everybody was shocked because I was kind of like the quiet nerdy girl. And then I read this poem, and they were like, "Oh my goodness! Who is this person?" And doing plays and being able to express myself that way on stage allowed me to discover a different part of myself, or the part of myself that I wanted to project but had trouble accessing, because people frightened me, like they still do. But even more so as a kid, I can deal with them now. But I really had a hard time, being in public, dealing with crowds, and being on stage kind of opened that door for me to make it more accessible. So teenage Jessie was. I was still outgoing, probably more academically than necessarily socially.
Okay.
But I was a part of a lot of groups. It was a lot to, because I want to make sure I look good on the college papers. It's like, oh, she's part of this, she's part of that. So I was part of a lot of groups, very nerdy. But I loved fashion, I loved music, and I found a way to express myself by being a part of plays. I was Guinevere in the school play for Camelot. We never got to put it on though. That was a whole nother story. I can't get into that. But that was my outlet, being able to be on stage and find that part of me that was cool.
Indeed. So, okay. So you speak about stage. So were you into anything else before you fell in love with music?
Poetry. I guess poetry. I would always write. That was another outlet for me. Like whenever I got angry and I couldn't express myself, I would always write it out. And I still do that to this day. Right. That comes out in my music. If I can't find a way to express myself, I will definitely write it out. Got
you. No, I mean, I write also. So I definitely understand that most definitely. So when did music first call your name?
So I guess it was college. It's always been a part of my life. Don't get me wrong, because my mom would have me sing in the church choir.
Okay.
We would always have something playing in the background. We would always be singing. My mom sings, my sister sings. So it was always a part of us. Again, I think the shyness kept me from making that the primary focus of my life. I always thought I was going to be an academic more so than anything.
Right.
Or if I was going to be on stage, I thought, oh, I'll be an actress. I'm theatrical. So I get to college, and I decided to be a part of the pageant, to be Miss Oakwood. And I was going to do a dramatic reading, and I was going to be very, very serious, and everybody's going to feel my depth. But then the pageant director was like, I can't have any more dramatic readings. This is ridiculous. And he was like freaking out. He's like, I've heard you sing. You're going to sing. And at first I was terrified. And I was like, no way, I'm not getting up there and making a fool out of myself, because I came from a school that's known for its singers. I'm not talking about singers, I'm talking about singers. So you want me to get up in front of all of these people and sing? But somehow he convinced me, and I ended up winning the pageant.
Oh, awesome.
And it seemed at that moment, that was kind of like the impetus where all these opportunities started to come to me to sing, more so than anything else. In my mind, I'm still thinking I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be a doctor or something. I'm going to be academic. But divine intervention came down and showed me a path that I didn't think I was going to follow, or I didn't expect. And next thing I know, I'm singing in bands. I'm working at this recording studio. I started writing songs. And it was just all these little steps that led me down this path, even to the point where I got to New York. I got a job as a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I didn't have to worry about being a starving musician. The company moved me here because this is where I felt like I needed to be. And then, divine intervention allowed me to get here. And then a year after that, I was singing with Chic. So the steps to where I got, I definitely feel like it was destined, because it doesn't really make sense any other way.
No, that's love. And it's like, you've gone into so many things that I want to ask. And it's like, so that, I guess that was the internal stamp of approval for you. That you were talented and can sing. So no, that's love. That really is. That's really love. That's a good story, though. That's a good story. So hold on, but you said the college. Now, what college was you said? Oakwood?
Oakwood, yeah.
And where's that?
It's in Huntsville, Alabama. So
Huntsville, Alabama. So how'd you get there?
I lived there for a while. My father's still down there. I still have a lot of people there. Gotcha. And it's my family's alma mater. My mom is my
got you.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted you to shout that out. You kind of just said, Oakwood. I was just like, I don't know if I know Oakwood, but yeah, now, okay. Oakwood College. Huntsville, Alabama, ladies and gentlemen.
Huntsville, Alabama. People like Take Six. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they're
She's trying to play me just now. She's trying to play me. Trying to play a grown man. I'm a grown man.
Talia Frazier, Brian McKnight. These are all people.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I got you. Indeed. Definite talent there. Take Six, yo. She's a wild girl. So, your vocals are definitely a beautiful instrument. You play so well. So do you play any other instruments?
Well, it depends on if you consider that playing well or I can pick out a melody on a piano and on a guitar, and that's how I can help the musicians I work with, and when I'm trying to give them an idea, I'll sing it to them, or I can like very badly play it on the piano so they can kind of understand where I'm going to go, chord wise. But as far as accompanying myself, nah.
I don't know. I saw you playing a guitar in a video, and I was just like,
let me tell you. And I set myself up because I put it online. I was like, "Ooh, can I play?" I came up with the riff. I sang the riff and all the harmonies and everything to my guitarist. So he can get an idea of how the song goes. So I was like, da-da-dum, and then he fleshed it out, but. I'm like, okay, I came up with this riff. I should be able to play it. And so I kind of played myself because I put on I'm going to learn how to play this riff. And then I'm sitting here, oh my God, why did I say I was going to do this? But I got it out for the video. I got it well enough so that I can do it in the video.
Oh, no. Awesome. Yeah. See, listen, my bandmate, Matt Acevedo, I'm in a band, Plastic Catastrophe, with Lord knows. And of course, I've done other things with Stuck Mojo and stuff like that. But anyway, Matt gifted me a guitar, and he has many of them. He gifted me a guitar a few years ago for my birthday. Man, I got so emotional about it. I'm an emotional person. And, I started playing, and hold on, let me back up. I attempted I found out how difficult it is and how much time you have to really give to that.
Yes.
To really be great at it, to be good at it. And so, you know, every so often I'll pull out my amp and I'll, you know, plug up the guitar and I'll work on things. And like I'm looking at little lessons, things. I have a lot of guitar players I could take lessons from or whatever like that, but I'm doing so much other stuff. But I'm just thankful for it. You know, I'll just look at it from time to time and say, like, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn it like I should so we can play on stage together. But no, I understand what you're saying.
I was getting good at COVID. And then one time my neighbor came and knocked on my door and was like, can you please stop? We're and I was so embarrassed and humbled that I kind of stopped. And that's on me. It's like I should have worked out more times to work, you know, to play it. So I'm not bothering him, because I know what I was doing the same thing over and over again. And if I had been a kid listening to that, I would have probably, you know, tried to kill somebody.
But that's what it takes, though. I mean, Grover Washington Jr.'s Wine Light album. My sister was in the band and she played saxophone, and she played that album over and over and over. And that's why it's one of my favorite albums to this day. I still listen to it all the time. It's just, it stuck with me. It's branded on me, you know? So no. But you gotta practice. You gotta have those kind of things over and over again to be good. Yes, of course.
You gotta work it out with your neighbors, though.
Indeed. So, can you recall that first big performance opportunity that blew you away?
I guess my audition for Chic, because that was my first big opportunity, period.
Right.
I had just moved to New York, and I was fortunate to have met Omar Hakim through a mutual friend of my mom's, and he wanted to work with me. Omar Hakim is an amazing drummer.
Right.
Worked with Sting. You know, he was with Chic when I was there at that time. But anyway, I was working with Omar Hakim, and he came to me and said, you know, Chic is looking for another singer. Would you be interested? And I think I had just seen like the VH1 Behind the Music. So, you know, I'm like, Chic, Nile Rodgers, are you kidding? You know, I'm trying to play it cool. It's like, oh yeah, Chic, yeah, sure. You know, so I meet Nile Rodgers. He was like super cool. Then he was like, would you be interested in auditioning? And I'm like, heck yeah. So they told me to learn I'm Coming Out. And I was so wobbly-kneed, terrified, you know, because this is like my first real connection to stardom. You know, these are like,
that's gigantic too. Yes.
Yeah, these are like the serious cats. This is not, you know, doing a wedding. This is like, you know, serious. So, you know, I get up and I sing I'm Coming Out, and then they were like, can you sing harmonies? And I'm like, well, yeah, I've been singing in the church since I was 4, you know. So, you know, I sang the harmonies that they wanted me to sing. And next thing I know, they're like, you know, we have a tour coming up in a few months. Do you want to go? And I'm like, are you kidding? You know, and I'd literally been in New York for about a year. So, you know, the fact that I'm in New York for a year auditioning, and I was a wedding singer. And still am. I still do it, you know. But you know, I go from that to flying to Japan, and this is the first time I've ever been out of the country.
Wow.
And I'm kind of like going through like on that level, like a boot camp situation, because we were doing 3 shows a day around Japan. So I was really learning the ropes. Thank God for Silver Logan Sharp, because she was teaching me mic technique and what it's like to be on stage and how to move, you know, within the confines of this kind of group, and how to if you're singing backgrounds, you know, tone it down a bit. But when you're on, you know, up front, then you give it your all. So it was boot camp for me, and that was like my first real exposure to the big stage. And so I credit Nile Rodgers for actually kickstarting my professional career, because if he hadn't have done that, he, you know, whatever he saw in me, who was completely green, like I'm like Forest Green. I'm so green. It's like, you know, and he, for whatever reason, he saw something in me. I think it was that I kind of fit the look, you know, silver Logan Sharp
I
was.
can definitely see that. Right.
Yeah, she was tall. The keyboard player was tall, and it was like this nice female, Amazonian kind of vibe.
The aesthetic of it. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I could do the parts. So it's like, yeah, she fit right in. So yeah, that was like my first big exposure to that level of professional singing. So thank God for Nile Rodgers in that audition.
Yes, indeed. And you speak about Nile Rodgers and Chic. I mean, just growing up, and for me, I just go back and I just think about it, how that music was always played, and going back to that disco era. I was very young then, but yet still, it still resonates to this day with me. I have another show that I do called the Classic Album Review, and I did the greatest hits of Chic, and I just know that now all of those songs, just listening to them again, I was just time machine. And, I was back there again, and I was just feeling good. It made me feel good. They're always in rotation anyway. When I go on trips and I'm driving, it stays in rotation. So, yes, big up to Nile Rodgers and having this young lady do work for you. And she did well. She did well. So, speaking about that, you've complimented the talents of so many big artists and have added to their greatness. So, did you always have a desire to be out front showcasing your incredible talents?
I did. Once I realized that that's where I felt comfortable, where my true destiny in life was leading me.
Right.
I've always wanted to be out front. Don't get me wrong, I do love singing backgrounds, and I would, do it again in a heartbeat, But it's like that movie, 20 Feet from Stardom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're so close to that center spot but yet so far away. and any opportunity that I've had to kind of to live in that center space, it's such an amazing feeling. Like I toured with Kid Rock for a while,
right.
and he would have me come out and sing like my own little moment.
Awesome.
And here I am in front of like 20,000, 30,000 people, and I'm singing like my heart out, and they're connecting with me, and we're on this whole different plane of existence because we're experiencing this connection that very few people get to experience.
That's right.
It's electric. It's a feeling like no other. And as much as I love being in the background, and I still have those moments of connection with the audience, it's a even closer bond that you feel with the audience when you're up front. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And thrilling and exhilarating in the same way.
Yes, indeed. Now, so see, once again, I know when things are going well, because my next question for you was, what's the difference between being complimentary and being the center of attention? And look, you already answered that question. so I love it. I love it. That just lets me know that things are just rolling beautifully. I mean, it's me. It wouldn't be anything else. And you, of course. So let me just put that on. You're an amazing guest already. So what kind of high does music supply you?
It's again, I think it's allows me to tap into a part of myself that that's not easily accessible for me. Again, I still revert to that shy girl sometimes.
Yes.
And being on stage, I am that interesting part of myself. Mm-hmm. I'm the part of myself that's comfortable saying things to people who it's okay if I say something silly, it's I'm not going to be beating myself up about it later. It's like this on stage, this is just me being kooky and fun and silly. And it's freeing. It's very freeing to be on stage. And it's when someone knows your lyrics, or they're saying something back to you, or they're so intent that they feel that emotion coming from you. There is, I know, aside from, if you have some kind of like religious experience, there is no other high.
Right. Thank you.
It is touching the divine in a way.
Yes. I'm straight edge. I don't drink, smoke, none of that stuff. I played in metal bands and I've been around it all. And I know you've seen it all too. and it's just that transference of energy from the fans to you, and you said it so beautifully that when they know your lyrics, when they're singing those songs with you, and I tell everybody, I don't say that they're in the moment, they become a part of your moment. Exactly. They become a part of you, and then you become one all together, and you're just singing because it's about you. And so being on that stage is an amazing high. It really is.
It's touching the divine.
Yes, indeed. Listen, I love that. I'm going to have to use that from you, young ladies. I hope you don't mind. I'll have to reference you. Yeah. Jessie Wagner said it's touching the divine.
yeah, you can use it. That's right.
So now I was watching something, reading something, and you kind of touched on it, I believe, already. So why was it such a struggle for you to be heard being around all of these great individuals?
It's a couple of things. Mm-hmm. When I'm with Niall or when I'm with Lenny Kravitz, yes, I think they see the potential for what I could do outside of the realm of my job for them.
Right.
But ultimately, it comes down to I am an employee.
Right. Indeed.
And I held myself as an employee because I want to keep my job.
Right. Of course.
I did approach, Niall. I approached Lenny and I had the conversations. They all knew that I wanted to move from here to there. Mm-hmm. But I think in the capacity that I was serving, this was my place in their mind. You are my support system to help deliver this musical message that I'm trying to deliver.
Right.
Which is fair. And there were times where we had those talks and they were like, oh yeah, I can see you maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. Mm-hmm. But it always boiled down to, they have their own responsibilities. They have their own things that they're dealing with. And sometimes, as much as they could see me doing this, they're already focused on that other person, that younger person, that whatever that they felt could really deliver the musical message that they want to deliver. Mm-hmm. And when you're in that place, you also don't want to cross too many lines. It's like, I could talk to Lenny, and there were times we had, we were just sitting around, acting silly, whatever. But it's like, how hard do you push? Right. And that's been my struggle, because I've never wanted to be the one that's always up in the face. Hey, did you check this out? Did you do it? And I tried to do it as much as I could, but again, being a shy person and not having that aggressive tendency to like push, mm-hmm. listen to this. Do you like this? Could I do this? Would you? I think that was a hindrance on my part. So I had to take some of the blame. It's not just necessarily that these artists didn't recognize the potential that I had. It was, how hard do you push before you get on someone's nerve and they're like, you're replaceable, or, finding that middle ground. So that was the struggle, I think, finding the middle ground on how hard I should push, and then them seeing you outside of the realm of how you're a support to their project. You're their employee, and as much of a family as it is, it boils down to that.
I understand that when you say that, it's just like, once again, I tell everybody, I say it probably every show, I'm so visual and I see everything that you're talking about. It's like a movie. So when you're mentioning their names, I'm seeing you, like wanting to approach them. I'm seeing them look at you. And just like you said, they have things going on in their own world. And I've been the same way. Like, at certain times I want to approach people, and then I'm like, I'm not approaching them. I'm just like, when I see like big stars, I don't really get a certain feeling about them because I'm really confident in who I am.
Right.
You know, when it comes to anything that I'm doing, but I'm always respectful to them because I don't want to, you know, as you say, ruffle their feathers or do anything like that. I just want to, you know, I'm going to go with the flow. So I listen, I understand it. I've been in those rooms and those situations before also. And it's just like, I'm just going to be cool. I'm just going to be cool. It's going to happen. Yeah.
You have to hold on to that professionalism because you were hired to do a job. Right. That is you're here for in this capacity to be a background singer. So I always try to keep that first and foremost, even when I'm approaching these people and you know, hey, I have this song and I have been fortunate that I had conversations, but again, it's like, you know, trying to keep pushing it. Fortunately, with little Steven, who's the one who gave me my record deal.
Yeah, that was next.
You know, that was a whole nother thing. Because again, I was trying very hard to be respectful and not push too hard. But I gave him the album Shoes Dropping, the first album I released with Wicked Cool.
Right.
And I just asked him to listen to it. You know, I didn't have any expectations because you have to be pragmatic. You have to keep trying, but you also have to accept, okay, if this doesn't work, you keep going, try the next thing, keep trying the next thing. So, you know, I had hopes, but I wanted to make sure I kept my expectations reasonable. So it's like, hey, could you just listen to this and, you know, give me some advice? And if, you know, because I would like to tour off of this album, yada, yada, yada. And little Steven, he was like, yeah, he listened to it. He's like, yeah, let's talk about it, which shocked me.
Right.
You know, because even to get to that point, I've had other people listen to my music before and they're like, oh, you need to do this. And if you had done this and, you know, we'll write something for you or something like that. And I'm like, but, you know, I have something to say. So the fact that he listened, wanted to talk about it, like sit down one-on-one, that was awesome. Huge for me.
Yes.
So, you know, the next couple of days we arranged a meeting. I go to meet him and we go to this restaurant in the village and it's just him. And, you know, I had to go down these stairs and he's like sitting in the corner and he's like drinking like a cappuccino or something. I'm like, you know, this is very Sopranos, you know.
Right. And listen, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Right, you know, it's little Steven, you know. So I'm like, you know, am I about to get whacked? You know, what's really going on? You know, it's very mafia like. So, you know, and then I sit down at the table, we start talking. And, you know, I'm like really nervous. And then he turns to me and he's like, this is good. I like this. and, you know, at first I'm like, woo, I'm alive. No. You know, and then he's like, would you ever consider being on my label Wicked Cool? Right. And that blew my mind. So it was like one, you know, getting the validation, someone on that level, you know. Who's worked with so many people, a songwriter himself, who's worked on some of the greatest songs ever written. Yeah, and here he is validating my music, my vision, you know, my what I'm doing, and, which was so touching and you know, it was just amazing as an artist because you know we do get in our feelings, we do get sensitive about things.
Indeed.
And the fact that someone was like, no, this is good. It you know, it kind of made me feel like, oh, okay, this journey was worth it. You know, the ups and downs, you know, it felt
awesome. Now, listen, that's awesome. Listen, she went into the reference, Sopranos reference, him sitting in the corner with the cappuccino. And I just see him, because, you know, even with Lilyhammer, I've watched him in a lot of things, believe me. Listen, I always tell my kids I'm a cornball. They're like, you're not a cornball, Dad. You're cool, you know. But, you know, I just know how I am, and I know the things that I like. So I've watched I had the Sopranos on VHS. I had it all. I watched it because I love the show anyway. But no, great story. I'm glad you went into it like that. And that's what I was going to ask you about, that time when he did approach you, when you approached him, and then it went down. So great story. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So now, Army of the Underdog.
Yes.
Now, who's the architect of this magical creative? This magical collective, let me say.
Yeah, that's Jessie early days. You know, that was me.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, that I was still Army of the Underdog. I was with uh it started out as Envy, and then we changed the name because we found out there was a few other bands named Envy, so it became Army of the Underdog.
Okay.
But I was working with those cats, from Chic, from Kid Rock, from even when I was with Lenny.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Jessie, early days. Jessie, definitely edgier, harder sound, and it's still a part of me. Like my latest single that's out, Wicked Cool, is kind of an homage to my earlier Army of the Underdog days.
Gotcha.
But I guess Army of the Underdog, I felt like the underdog in a lot of ways. And I know people are like, "What do you mean the underdog? You're freaking singing with Lenny Kravitz, But I'm still fighting for this dream.
Yes.
And I'm doing music that most people would consider, someone who looks like me, they automatically think I do a certain kind of thing.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, I do that too, but I also do this, and I do.
Right.
My music is kind of all encompassing, and I don't want to be forced into a box. So, right. Army of the Underdog is kind of like, if you feel like you don't necessarily fit in a particular box and you don't want to, that's okay. You can be a part of this army. You can be a part of the Misfits, like we are, because we're just doing what we want to do as far as music is concerned. We're not letting someone tell us you have to be this thing or the other. So that's Army of the Underdog.
Awesome. See, once again, I was going to say, what does Army of the Underdog bring to you musically that excites your senses? And you already was on it. Listen, I love it. I love it. She's on point, ladies and gentlemen. She's on point. So
I love rocking out, and I still do, even though my sound is a little more tame than it used to be. But every once in a while, I will pull out a rock tune because I love. There's a completely different energy when you're singing a rock tune than a standard or an R&B tune or whatever.
Indeed. No, I definitely learned it.
Oh yeah, really. You say you're in a metal band. So.
Oh my goodness, I was like. Once again, I'm a military kid, so I've listened to everything. I have friends of all colors, races, religions. We listen to everything. And so I love music like that. And I have all my playlists that I listen to. I might be one day I'm listening to country music. That's all I want to listen to. So that's who I am. So when you say what you say, I was like, yeah, you can't put me in a box. And even when I write and I'm doing music, there's so many things that I want to do, and I'm just like, so I'm open to all kinds of stuff. So I really, really, really get it. But being on that stage with Stuck Mojo just took me to another level, and I learned so much. I was just like, wow, okay, this is what this is. This is what this is. And now, mind you, I'll say this. We played in some of the worst venues in the world. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. But the thing about it is, when you play in those terrible venues and they're packed, they become a beautiful
yeah.
It's a beautiful experience. So yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So So I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. Like, up here filling up Arlene's grocery, even though it's a little tiny cramped room, the fact that I was able to do that once or twice and fill it up and have so many people come out and support, it was just as amazing as singing at the O2 Arena in London, where there's like 60,000 people, whatever, that's a great feeling. But Arlene's Grocery, they came to see Army of the Underdog, they came to see Jessie Wagner, and whoever listened to those songs and knew them and were singing it back, that's a whole different kind of acceptance.
Of course.
It's great singing with Chic and with Lenny and Kid and all these people, and people knowing who I am, but then they're knowing who I am and they know War Within, or they're like, the shoes dropping, that song really meant something to me.
Right.
That, I get it. Like, I get emotional just thinking about that. It's like, you knew my song and it meant something to you.
Right.
Again, that's touching the divine.
Listen, I once again, and this is all about you, but you just sparked my mind with things just to piggyback off of what you're saying. And when I really got out there and meeting all these people, and my brother Pierre, he's from Germany, and he's a hair, how do you say, a hairdresser. He's he's talented. He does hair, and he does Klaus from oh my goodness, the Scorpions. He does his hair.
Oh, and wow.
So, yeah, and so Pierre tattooed my face, my logo on his arm.
Wow.
And he was like, when we came back to Germany, he was just like, Lord, I want to show you something. And he said, I don't want you to think I'm crazy or whatever like that. And he showed me, and see, the person that I am, I was just, it humbled me beyond that somebody would think that much of me, and I was just like, man, you just don't know what I really got emotional. He probably didn't even know how emotional I got about it, but it was like, that was something just beyond to me.
It's a beautiful
that I can affect somebody like that,
That I was doing a cover band gig last week, and which is great. People they know me from that, right. But I'm still singing. It's more about Donna Summer than it is about Jessie Wagner. And at the end of the gig, I'm going home, and someone came up to me, and they're like, "I follow you on Facebook," and she's like, "I wanted to show you this," and she showed me a screenshot of a conversation that she had with her daughter, and it was they were holding up a picture of my album.
Wow.
And she's using this song in her wedding.
Awesome.
And that blew my mind. I'm like,
of course,
use one of my songs in your wedding, yes, and I didn't solicit this. I didn't go to you to ask you, like, do you want to use, you just listened and decided this means enough that I want it to be a part of my special day. Man. And that totally blew my mind that my music is a part of someone's wedding day.
Yes. And you know what? You've actually, I can almost guarantee you've touched more people than you will ever know, really. And that's just a true statement. Because you are divine, young lady. That is what's going on. So now I want to go into Shoes Dropping. Now, it has such an amazing mix of genres that are incorporated so awesomely in it, in incredible orchestration and musicianship, with your vocals vividly painting an amazing picture that draws us in. So who or what was the inspiration for this album and type?
Shoes Dropping came at a very difficult period in my life. Okay. A loved one had a traumatic brain injury, and I became like the caretaker for that situation. Right. And it was overwhelming because I was still here in New York, but all my family, like my dad's in Alabama, my mom's in Virginia. I was basically here by myself dealing with this situation. Yes. And it got so overwhelming to the point where I was even like questioning my faith, questioning what I was doing with my life. And I got so angry with God, that I'm like, well, you said, you're not going to give me any more than I can bear. I can't bear this anymore. Right. I can't take it anymore. Yeah. And as I'm ranting at God and like, this is, my belief was so shaken. The song Shoes Dropping came to me. And other songs, like Caretaker and Lover's Lullaby, all this kind of came out of that emotion of being overwhelmed. And even though a lot of the songs dealt with the hardship I was going through, I also wanted to include some things that were hopeful, like end of time. It's like, I might be going through this, but then, here's a moment where things are hopeful. And I try to do that even with the war, even with War Within. There's moments where I'm, in this really dark space, but I always try to include something hopeful. So Shoes Dropping was definitely crafted or came together during that period. And I at first I was just putting together songs because I was like, I was thinking about doing a benefit because I needed money. And I was like, maybe I'm going to put together this album and hopefully it'll sell so I can use the money to help pay for the situation that I'm dealing with. And, it just kept building and building upon itself, and to the point where I had that collection of songs where it really kind of framed where my mind was at, between struggle with caretaking, the struggle with who I am as an artist, like the great one, which is dealing with my insecurities of being a singer, and should I even be doing this? Should I just do what I had intended initially and just go be a lawyer, go do the academic thing that you were supposed to do, or you thought you were supposed to be doing. So the songs are very cathartic. Again, me processing where I was at that time and where I wanted to be, and just trying to work my way through.
I got you. No, beautifully, once again, said and expressed. I went through the same thing actually with my mother. I'm one of 5, but the older ones were gone, and it was just like me and my little sister. And when you say difficult, I just, once again, I get emotional about things like that, and I just took me back. And so, just being a kid, just graduating from high school, and then, not long after that, cancer. And so it was just like, boom. So anyway, I love that, because I feel your pain. I was there too, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But great segment, young lady. So now I want to go to War Within. Now, this album to me has a consistent vibe and feel.
Okay.
Once again, your vocals are awesome, and you are so comfortably in the pocket. So how much do you feel you've grown mentally and musically since the release of Shoes Dropping?
I feel like I'm still writing the same way, in that when it comes to me, however it comes to me, that's how the song is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know Shoes Dropping was genreless, but I feel like War Within still has that same kind of freedom, because you'll have songs like I Just Can't Today. I
want to tell you that I'm cutting you off and letting you know that's my favorite right there. Yo, listen. I said I got it right here now. Here, listen. It's got that vibe to it. It's got that vibe to it. It's an amazing song. Yeah, so okay, I'm sorry. That's my song. I love that song. It's a great song. It's a great song.
So I can go from like I Just Can't Today to something like War Within. Yeah, which have these different feels, but that's how the song came to me. So I think I take that with me whenever I'm writing, whatever project I'm doing. And the next project is going to probably be the same. I just want to keep allowing myself to go there, to be honest, and let the music dictate what it's going to be, not some label head or some other force saying you have to be this because this is how we see you. Right.
It's just that when I heard it, so I love music, I love lyrics. I'm just listening, and when I got to War Within, I was just like, this album here, I don't know. I guess I saw growth in you. I don't know if it was who produced this album? Who produced War Within?
It was me and my drummer Dave Diamond who produced. Yeah, and he basically produced the last album too. Okay. But I think maybe we had a different engineer. So I was a little bit more hands-on this time than I think it was last time. Right. But I try to work with the same people that I feel comfortable with. I brought in, the cats that I usually play with, like Sherrod Barnes. Oh my gosh, Sherrod Barnes is like this ridiculous guitar player. He's insane. And my cat, Scotty Martin, who plays with me pretty regularly. I try to listen to their opinions, and but ultimately it boiled down to like me and Dave just kind of like you like this? You like this? Let's try this. You do this, and adding those little bits of candy here and there throughout.
So on Shoes Dropping, were there more people involved in the decision making of the songs?
I think my engineer at the time, who passed away, who I miss him dearly, and he would have been engineering this project as well. He had a lot to say on Shoes Dropping as well. But it's been kind of like me and Dave, and of course Chris Cooper when he was around for Shoes Dropping. But yeah, it's me and Dave just kind of like going back and forth. Do you like this? Do you like that? Do you? Yeah.
Okay. So see, it's more of it just seems like it's more of a focused effort to make this and it's a beautiful body of work. Shoes Dropping is also, but this is a beautiful body of work. I enjoyed it. Of course, I listened to the catalog. It was really, really, really good. So it is really, really, really good. So
I appreciate that. Thank you for saying that.
Indeed. Yeah. So what do you enjoy better, being out front doing you or being a complimentary artist? We kind of talked about it.
Oh man, you feel different things, depending on what hat you're wearing.
Right.
So I mean, if I could get out and tour on this album, that'll be, that's the holy grail for me.
Right.
I would love to just be able to go out as Jessie Wagner and have a sustainable tour as Jessie Wagner.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal.
I got you.
But I do, when you're listening to when you're on stage singing, Are Gonna Go My Way.
Right. Right. Indeed.
Because these songs were part of you as well in a different way. I may not have any say or part of writing it, but it was part of my childhood. It was part of how I grew up. So it affects you in a different way, and it's exciting that, oh my God, I'm up here with the people that actually created these songs, and I'm delivering these music with the same people that feel the same thing that I'm feeling. It is, again, is that synergy that's coming back from the audience to you. You're singing these songs. So it's a feeling like no other. So I love them equally in different ways. I love being a support art, but the holy grail still is me, Jessie Wagner.
Doing you, yes.
Yeah.
No, listen. I got you. You know what it is? It's a freedom.
Yes.
It's a freedom. When I was with Stuck Mojo, when I was doing with a band No Power, No Crown, and Lord Nelson featuring Lies that I was with, the French band, all of those things were good. But when I got with Lies, there was a freedom there. And a good friend of mine, Ant, he was like, hey, man, just do you. You just be free. And that freed me. And now with Plastic Catastrophe with Lord Nelson, Matt and I, the freedom is just so crazy. It just feels good. There's no worries. We're not trying to rush with anything. We do what we want to do. And it's love. We just released a song called Be Long. Meaning like it won't be long before you get on. It's like people would tell you that, and then we got like the record labels like, yeah, we're going to do this. Anyway, it's crazy, but we just released it this morning, but it's real cool. But anyway, beyond that, I'm music crazy. So forgive me.
No, but when you're a support artist, you have to stay within that person's vision.
Right.
Fortunate with Lenny, I got to play with my look a little bit more. It was more my aesthetic.
Yeah.
So, I had a little bit more freedom with that. But, with Duran Duran, it was like, this is the look. This is the sound. You have to hit the parts the way they want you to hit the parts.
Right.
And if you vary from that, if you make any kind of little mistake, they're looking at you like, so, that is the drawback to being a support artist. You have to stay within the confines of how this artist needs you to be.
Right.
And if you mess up, then, then it's like, if you mess up on your own stuff, oh, well, I can laugh it off and like, but, there have been many times I was on stage with Lenny and he's looking over here and I'm like, what did I do? I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm trying, oh, it's on the run. you know, I'm doing the part. What am I, please forgive me. You know, and then he had those glasses on. So you really, you know, it's like, what are you trying to tell me? I don't know. Right, are you looking at the guitar tech? You know, I'm freaking out here. I'm having a mini meltdown on stage, you know, trying to sing my part and look cool.
Right, indeed. No, I understand. Listen, I was front man. I missed lyrics in front of 60,000 people in the whole nine. I'm looking at Rich, you looking at me like, man, I just got caught up in the moment of enjoying myself and looking at it. I was like, man, I've never played in front of this many people before, man. This is kind of wild. And I'm looking at him because I thought he messed up. He was like, no, it was you, bro. But listen, I just take it how it comes. Exactly. And I understand that you have to be a professional at all times when you're playing with these individuals who are so talented, and so are you. So, but it's love. So let me ask this question. Mm-hmm. Who is Jessie Wagner beyond the music?
Jessie Wagner beyond the music is a kooky sci-fi girl who loves her family, loves her friends, who's kind of an introvert, but appreciates whenever she has a chance to geek out with her people.
Just the fact that she used the word kooky. This awesomeness. It's awesome.
I'm a nerd. I've never, I'm always going to be a nerd. I've accepted it.
No, I didn't listen. You put that on you. I never said anything like that. I think you're cool. I think you're cool. So let's not even front. That's my opinion. That's my perspective.
I appreciate that, but beyond the music, I know I'm a nerd. I go to Renaissance festivals. I'm a dork. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I love that that's who I am. I always revert to that. And I'm fortunate that I have my circle of people that they're like, you're a little weird, but we still love you.
Of course. No, that is a beautiful thing. That is definitely a beautiful thing. So what can we expect from Jessie Wagner for the remainder of 2025?
Well, I'm probably going to put out a couple more videos for More Within. I have a show coming up next week, the Duran, which is the album release show. Mm-hmm. So it'll be the first time I'll be playing a lot of these tunes. I'll be doing some songs from Shoes Dropping, but you're going to hear a lot of new tunes from War Within. So if you're in the New York area, next Thursday, May 29th, come by the Bitter End, check out the tunes. I'm gonna be doing some songs from some of the artists that I've worked with. It's gonna be a great show. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, and I'm gonna have some wag swag. So wag swag. Yeah. And hopefully, I'm trying to put together some more shows where I can move around a little bit more outside of the New York area. Cool. So just keep your eye on Jessie Wagner. Hopefully, I'll be coming to a town near you.
Of course. So, getting close to the end here, let me ask you this, and I want you to be really honest.
Okay.
All right. I want you to be really honest. What makes
sweating again? No, all right.
What makes Jessie Wagner a must-watch and listen?
Again, I am probably, if you want a mixture of all kinds of different things, a genreless artist that's going to tickle all your musical funny bones,
right?
Then you need to listen to Jessie Wagner. Awesome. I'm going to give you a little bit of everything.
Indeed. And listen, I always want people to be really confident about it, because that's what we do. We're here to entertain. It's what we do. So I want people to really talk about it. Some people get real humble. Well, I'm like, no. I want to hear you say, like, you come to my show or our show, man, you're gonna have a time of your life. Yeah. You're gonna be entertained for how a couple of hours or whatever it is. Exactly. Throw your inhibitions to the side. Just come in here and have a good time and leave life alone outside those doors. And just free yourself.
As I said throughout this whole interview, the stage is where I get to be the cool, fun, crazy Jessie. So you're gonna get that. You're gonna get all of that. The shy girl, put her aside. Right. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be energetic, and it's gonna be a mixture of all kind of things.
That's love. That's love. It really is. So the last question, as always, what was the last song you listened to?
Oh my goodness, jeez. The last song I listened to, because I had to learn it for a gig, Pink Pony Club.
Pink Pony Club.
I'm learning that, yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Enlighten me. Pink Pony Club, who's that?
Is Chaperone?
I don't know if I know that song.
You have kids?
I do. Well, I mean, I don't have any. I have a grandson, but I don't have any young kids. My kids are all grown and out of college and everything.
Oh, okay. Well, they'll know. Talk to them. This Pink Pony Club is everywhere. Even your grandson probably knows it.
Well, he's sick, so yeah. So I don't know, but I'll ask. I'll definitely ask. Pink Pony Club. Okay, let's see. That's awesome. Well, young lady, this has been like an amazing time, and I really enjoyed this conversation, no doubt. I always say I'm asking questions, but I really wanted to make it more like a conversation than just asking questions, and I just want to have a good time, and I've had a good time, and I pray that you've had the same. And the thing is, if you don't mind, please give my watchers and listeners your support me and your music information, social media.
Oh, yeah. You can find Jessie Wagner on Instagram, X, TikTok. I have my own website, jessiewagnerofficial.com, and that also has links to all my socials. So yeah, I'd love it if you guys hit me up, leave me a message and say that you saw me on this show, and and maybe I'll give you some swag.
That's awesome. Well, young lady, once again, thank you very, very much. It's been a great time, a great time. It really, really, really has. So, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Pure energy, raw talent, and an unforgettable conversation with the incredible, one more time, the incredible Jessie Wagner. Yes, indeed.
I'm hiring you. I am hiring you.
Like I always like to say, thank you all for taking the time to spend some time. And until next time, stay real, stay loud, and as always, remember to lead with love and walk forward with faith. Peace and love from the Lord. Nelson, that is. Jessie Wagner, awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord, Nelson, that is.